What's up, guys? This is Maxwell Comics Inc. I'm your host, Maxwell, and today I want to talk about a show that I've been watching recently, that I just recently finished, and it's really great. Everyone loves it, so I'm out to review it on my channel, and that is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, yes, I know there was a series before this simply called Fullmetal Alchemist. I did not know that. I just watched Brotherhood and loved it. So basically, I'm going to be talking about this in different seasons, different parts. I can do everything else. But this, I will be talking about season 1, but on Netflix, it's titled Part 1, so I'm just going to call it Part 1 in this video. So basically, what alchemy is basically, it's more of a science than a magic. It's kind of a mixture of a magic and a science. That's basically the idea of, it's all based on this idea of equivalent exchange. On equivalent exchange, you trade this for something equally as valuable. But it kind of gives this idea of what is equivalent to a human being. We pick up with our heroes, Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric, or you could just call him Al. And basically what happened was their mother died. So what they did was they tried the basic rule of alchemy that you just don't do, is, human transportation, trying to bring something back from the dead, basically. And what had happened was, because if alchemy is based on equivalent exchange, that's the question. What is a human life worth? What is that worth? So honestly, basically, I think in the show it's a life for a life. They weren't given a life. They were kind of given some bullshit chemicals that kind of make it human, but it didn't count. So basically, what happened was Alphonse lost his entire body. His body's gone. And what had happened? Edward lost his leg. And basically, what Ed did was. He basically he was able to bond Alphonse's soul to a suit of big, honking, huge, badass armor. So basically, that's the predicament they're in. Their bodies are lost, and they're trying to get their bodies back throughout the entire show. That's pretty much the premise of the show. But that's kind of the first premise. The second premise is the villains. But the villains, I won't get too much into the villains until my part 2 review, which is also probably gonna come out this week. I don't know. Spring break stuff all that time, so I'm gonna do a lot of videos. Cool. So yeah, so after that, after their mom died, they pretty much grew up with their childhood friend, and Edward's kind of loving this entire show, but also they're kind of guy in the chair and tech person, that helped them out with shit. Is the childhood friend Winry, because they knew him as well Winry, and her family, with this their grandma. And basically, Winry is kind of an automail with him. So basically what he traded Al's soul for was his arms. Now he has his arms on. Basically, he has a metal leg and a metal that's a metal calf or something. A metal bottom leg and a metal arm. And instead of calling it like a prosthetic or something, it's basically called automail. Yeah, so that's a thing. And so she's basically an automail mechanic, which kind of helps him out with that. And then there are the state alchemists. So basically, what state alchemists are, they're kind of like, if you think of Ruby, kind of huntsmen, but they don't fight monsters. They kind of just use alchemy for military purposes. Different alchemists are called different names, like, the flame alchemist, or the crimson alchemist, or the full metal alchemist, or the frost alchemist, the sewing life, different alchemists have different names. And basically, and once the authorities find out what Ed and Al, basically what they find when the authorities find out what Edward and Al are capable of and how they're prodigies, they're basically accepted into the academy, and they become state alchemist. And he's given the thing of full metal alchemist, and basically they're like, you're gonna help us out, but you're also gonna be able to be here for all of our research, so you can get your bodies back. So basically, that's what they're doing. They're trying to do different mysteries, kind of solve, because the first couple episodes, it was kind of like doing crisis of the week or a monster of the week or something like that. What I mean, And basically, what they're trying to get is they're trying to find the perfection of all alchemy, the philosopher's stone. The philosopher's stone, not the philosopher's stone, because there's more than one, but but the secret to a philosopher's stone is that it's basically the epitome of all alchemy. It's like you can when you use alchemy with a philosopher's stone, you don't have to use the law of equivalent exchange. You can basically kind of pull something out of nothing, so to speak. I don't know. Hold on, I need to charge my computer so I can continue. Sorry, I had to plug up so I can continue to film. So yeah, basically what's going on is we're trying to look for philosopher's stones. We're trying to figure out how to make them. What's the secret? Let me get this philosopher's stone so we can get our bodies back. Because we've made a terrible mistake trying to bring our mom back, but we want to get our bodies back essentially. And then they're doing these little different things, and that's basically the plot of the thing of throughout the show. But it's more more prevalent in season one. And they're kind of doing their little state alchemist thing. Yeah, I think one of their first little episodes of the day thing was there was this town that was under the influence of this preacher, and the preacher was basically like I am God, I'm an incarnation of God, you have to follow me, and he had this like little disciple that was doing pretty much whatever he said, and they thought he had a philosopher's stone, so that's why they were investigating it. But basically they kind of outed him. Long story short, they outed him as just being an alchemist, and there was this one girl who was battered and broken down, and because like a lot of the themes in the show are like what is the line between what is it called, faith and science, and should we over believe in faith? Because in this episode it's like faith is like the all end all be all, and there's no questioning faith, or because that could be a damaging idea. But there's also in the next episode, which is like my favorite but least favorite episode in the entire show. This episode is iconic throughout the entire show. It is always this most important filler. There's no filler in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But if there was the first few episodes are kind of fillery, I guess. But like if there's something, if there's a so-called filler episode you have to watch, it is episode 4. Because episode 4 is the other spectrum. Like, should we be so crazy and overboard with science, and it should be follow science and do scientific things at all costs. You know what I mean? Because they're looking for this guy, a sowing life alchemist, and basically what his thing is like he's basically trying to do talking chimeras, and chimeras are basically like a mixture of animal and people, not like Fauna Shimubi where they're like human. I guess kind of like Fauna Shimubi, but it's like perfect chimeras are like people, but they can like transform into animal, like big huge hunk animal forms. But it's like and then I don't know. It's kind of all weird. There's a lot of range of chimera. There's the kind where it's like it has like an animal body, but it has like a human face, and then it can talk. I don't know. It's very very creepy. But yeah, this guy, his cover story is that his wife left him, but he became a state alchemist and he makes stacking chimeras, and he has a daughter Nina and their dog Alexander. Basically, the horrifying thing is that he basically uses his daughter and his family dog to transmit a talking chimera, and it's so sad because she's like brain dead. It's like she's like lesser, and she's very shaken by it, but she doesn't really know what's going on, and it's just like big brother, and it's just really sad. And I'm just like, oh, it's just, you can't tell how much of a sickening emotional gut punch that episode is. Episode 4 of season 1, it's just, ooh, it's one of my favorite episodes. It's also one of the most sickening episodes. Tummy, ugh, you know what I mean? So there's just really great episodes like that. And then there's also, basically, let's kind of get to the plot of it. They're looking for these philosopher stones, but they basically figure out at the 5th laboratory where there are also these people that are also other souls. What they did was actually they convicted criminals, and what it did was after they executed the criminals, they bonded their souls to suits of armor, just like I did with Al, and basically they are guarding the 5th laboratory, and basically what the fifth laboratory was. It's like I guess they were kind of making philosopher's stones there. But basically, long story short, they find out that to make a philosopher's stone, you have to it costs human lives. You know, basically that's what it costs, a human life. There's nothing what's more valuable than human life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they figure out, oh shit, we can't do that. We don't want to use human lives. Make our own lives. Like our own. They don't want to use a life, so to speak. But yeah, and there's also a plot point where one of the suits of armor buried the chopper was like, okay, what am I gonna do then? Like, okay. He basically kind of got into Alphonse's head and was like, "Oh, are you even real?" You know what I mean? It's just all this like philosophy shit that it's just like, "Oops," and then it just puts you in the feels, and it really makes you think. I like how this show really makes you think about the big questions. I don't know. It's a really good anime. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Basically to wrap this up, um, we kind of get this thing where they go back to their old teacher, and the teacher kind of finds out what they did, and she's like, "I can't really help you." But then you also find out that the teacher, because when the whole thing happened with their mom dying, they kind of saw the truth, so to speak, and they saw like there's this weird kind of figure in the spiritual plane or whatever where it was, and she was like, "I am truth, I am God, I am you, I am everything." You know what I mean? She kind of showed them like all the horrific shit that the human mind can't really handle. So they've seen sort of the truth, and that's how they can you do use alchemy without transmutation circles, which is really cool. But so came their teacher, and the teacher basically what happened is the teacher and her husband. The teacher's name was Azumi. I like that name. I like that name, Azumi. I don't know. I like that name. And she was pregnant, but she lost the baby, and she tried to use human transportation. And basically, she throws up blood all the time because her organs are kind of fucked up. So that's a thing. That's a thing. And also, Edna's dad ran out. That's another plot point. And basically, we end this season trying to figuring out what our villains are. So we have this image of this woman, and this beautiful woman looks a lot like Cinderfall, but not Cinderfall, and this big, huge, fat dude, uncharacteristically, I don't know, not not traditionally fat, just kind of like huge in an unrealistic way. I don't know. And basically, what it is I figured out early on that it's kind of like they're the names of the seven deadly sins. And so far, we in season one we meet lust and we meet gluttony, and we meet envy, lust and gluttony. Well, mostly we meet lust and gluttony, and lust and gluttony are doing some shady shit. So far it looks like they're mysterious figures in the show. And in the season finale, we meet greed, and basically we find out that greed can shift out a really black kind of ultimate armor, ultimate shields where he can't really be harmed, which is cool. There's also a guy, General Hughes, Major General Sergeant Hughes or whatever. There are a lot of these terms in the military: Major, Sergeant, General, blah 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 blah, blah. Colonel Hughes or whatever. Colonel Hughes is a guy who you first think is very annoying, but then it's like you love him, and he's always talking about his daughter. And when Henry comes, he stays with his daughter and him, and it's just great. He's just this great family guy, and he's just so great. But he ends up being killed because he finds out the truth. The government is hiding a secret, and there's the truth. Because even in the first episode, there's this alchemist trying to kill the government. People don't know why the government is so bad. It's just there's another villain, and his name is Scar, and he's Ishvalan, and there's basically this country of Ishval, and there was this Ishvalan civil war, and then there was this war of extermination. And, a lot of Ishvalans died, and he's basically this really religious guy. He's going out, and he's getting revenge on people, and it's like you have sinned. He's basically using God as a vengeance tool to exact revenge for his people. So that's really interesting. I really love Scar. Scar's a great character. There's also Colonel Mustang. Colonel Mustang. I want to say he gives me Crow vibes. Basically, he's the flame alchemist, but he's like the chief of like that district, that he's in Central. I don't know if he's going to Central. No, he's moving to Central. But yeah. And then there's Fuhrer. Then there's the king of the entire kingdom, of the entire country, and his name is Fuhrer King Bradley. Now the name King is one thing, but Fuhrer King, like Fuhrer is like Nazi Germany, Hitler kind of shit. So that's interesting too. So it's like, is it a dictatorship? What is this? Fuhrer King Bradley. That's kind of like a look. Like they're showing some respect, and then there's like Fuhrer King. It's like, ooh, that's really big. So you think, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? At this point, we don't really know. We just know that he's super skilled and he's the boss of everything, which is interesting. Then there's the Lieutenant Hawkeye, which is kind of Colonel Mustang's kind of right hand woman. And but Colonel Mustang is basically kind of that authority figure. He's a little bit like General Ironwood. I don't know, a little bit like him, but he's interesting. He's very ambitious, and one day he wants to be the Fuhrer. He's also kind of that beat cop that kind of looks out for the Elvic brothers and helps them out, gets them in and out of trouble. He's an interesting guy, but we will learn more about him sort of next season. What is there anything else that I need to discuss or talk about? Yeah, basically we basically figure out that the Ultimate Shield guy greed, because we're figuring out that all these different kind of villains are based off of the seven deadly sins, or they're named after the seven deadly sins. They greed is a homunculus, and a homunculus is basically a thing that has a philosopher's stone for a heart, but he can't really they can't really die. You have to I don't know, they can't really die. So, basically we leave off on a cliffhanger with Azumi, the teacher, and basically Edward kind of what is it called, facing off. And that's how season one ends. Basically, I don't know. This review has been all over the place. I'm just kind of getting my thoughts out. Basically, how these reviews work. I'm basically going to kind of tell the overall kind of plot of it, and then break down different characters and their different arcs as fastly and as clearly as possible. I don't know. Full Alchemist Brother is very, 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 very interesting. So far in the story, you just really fall in love with these characters and the deep philosophies and the deep ideas of the show. My rambling has probably been so dramatic, you probably don't really even truly know what the show is about. So I will, you know what I mean? So next time I will probably be a little bit more organized with what I talk about, but this first one, I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out and kind of share how interesting this is. Ooh, it's almost 18 minutes. It's gonna be a long upload. Anyway, this has been Maxwell Comics Inc. I'm your host, Sir Maxwell. I'm your host, Sir Maxwell. May the power protect you. Bye.